All right. Hi there. How are you? My name's Sabrina.
Good, thanks. I'm Sam.
That's good. Nice to meet you. So today, before we start talking about anything, I just want to let you know about our rules of confidentiality. So anything that we talk about, anything that we discuss, anything that you bring to me is going to stay just between us.
Okay.
I won't be talking to anyone else about it because it is personal information. The only time that I will have to breach confidentiality, say to speak to a supervisor or whatever it may be, is if there is any worry of self-harm, harm to others, any child abuse, if we're subpoenaed to court, either of us, or if there's any reported abuse by a healthcare provider. Okay? So is that okay? Is there any questions about that?
Oh, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. So, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, I've kind of just had this pressing issue going on lately. Almost finishing my first year of college and stuff like that, and thinking about next year's tuition and coming up with all that money.
Okay.
But my mom's on her own this year, kind of paying for my tuition, and my brother's starting in September, going to university and staying on residence. So it's just like one thing after another, bills and bills and bills, and I wasn't able to get OSAP this year, and my parents are divorced, and my dad was kind of like, you know what, like I don't have the money to contribute to you guys going to school, so that was kind of a big blow. So now my mom's just completely on her own, paying for the two of us to go to school, and it is not cheap, let me tell you that. So I just feel bad in these sense because she has come up with all this money, and we're the ones kind of just getting away free, I guess. But
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of financial stress going on right now. You said that your mom and dad are divorced.
yeah.
Okay, so when did that happen about?
I was in grade 7 when they divorced, and now I'm in my first year of college. So it's been about, let's say, 8 years,
Okay,
roughly.
so it's not as fresh, but
No.
it's still...
Well, I don't see my dad regularly. When the divorce first happened, we were doing the every other weekend thing, the normal court order. But then he was just kind of weird about it. I don't know.
Okay.
He wasn't putting in any effort to see us. It was always like us saying, oh, well, do you want to go out for dinner, or do you want to do this? And like we'd just go to his house and just chill, like, which isn't bad. Like I don't have a problem just hanging out, but it was kind of like he didn't put any effort in. So when we were there, it was just like, oh yeah, we're here.
Okay.
Like there was no, like he wasn't excited, and it's just like he lost all connection with us. So a couple years later, I guess, when I was like 16, I stopped going completely. I was just like, you know what, I give up, because he would pick up overtime shifts on the weekends. On the weekends, he was supposed to have us. So it's like, why am I going to come to your house and you be at work all day and hang out with your girlfriends here? Like, not to mention, his girlfriend's my old babysitter.
Okay.
So that's not fun.
All right, okay. So it sounds like it was your decision to stop meeting with your dad on a regular basis, because it sounds like there's a bit of a lack of effort.
Yes.
Does that sound about right?
Exactly right.
Okay. And I'm hearing a little bit of frustration around the dad's girlfriend here. So so did that come as a surprise, or what's the situation with that?
So when we were kids, my parents were still together. My dad's best friend had a girlfriend. We called her the candy lady, because whenever she'd see us, she'd always bring me and Spencer candy. Spencer's my twin brother.
Okay.
So we called her the candy lady as kids, because whenever we'd see her, she'd have lots of candy for us. So, like, we loved her. And then, whatever, years went by, and then she would do some babysitting for us here and there. And once my parents split up, I guess it would have been soon, like pretty soon after, she started coming and staying overnight, and then she kind of like moved in. It's one thing after another, and it's like, she's nice. I don't have a problem with her that way, but it's just like, you were my babysitter when my parents were together, and that's just a really hard concept for me to wrap my head around. Like, I don't hold any grudge. Like, when I'm around her, I'm still nice. It's not like I'm a brat or mean or rude or anything like that. But it's just like I wonder when that even started. Right. It's just like if you're dating now, was there anything going on before?
Right.
Or when did you look at each other like that? Like that was my dad's friend's girlfriend. So it's like
totally understandable.
It's weird.
Right. I can see how that would be definitely something that's hard to grasp for you. Totally. So you did mention your brother as well. You have a twin brother.
Yes.
That's really cool. I've always wanted to be a twin.
We're complete opposites.
Okay. And you said that he is in school right now, or?
No, he's taking a year off to work full time and then going to University of Ottawa in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means that next year you're both going to be in school.
Yes.
So how does the financial stress, how do you think that's going to go over next year, especially because you did mention that your dad is not helping out the way that you would expect him to?
Well, so as long as we're in school, he's paying child support for the two of us.
Okay.
So now that my brother isn't currently in school, he's not being paid for child support. It'll start again in September once he goes back. So as of right now, my mom's just getting that bit of help from me. So even though she's taking care of the both of us, she's only getting my side of the child supported. So that alone isn't very sufficient. There's two of us. And being on her own, paying for 2 tuitions, and eventually, after my program, I plan on going to Toronto, and I'm going to have to live there. So it's like, even just looking forward at all the income that's going to have to be paid, it's stressful to think ahead because I'm a worrier, and I get like anxiety thinking about all that. 'Cause it's just like, you're on your own, and I contribute as much as I can, but I'm a girl, I like to shop, I've got necessities, and I'm paying for a car right now, so that's a big chunk of my own income from a part-time job, which is not a lot to begin with. And Spencer's saving up for his schooling, so that's good for him, but it's just stressful and frustrating to think about because it's like he's over there getting off easy, like you had 2 twins and now you're not even paying for anything, like it's just like he's disconnected all ties, and it's like you're off living with your girlfriend, getting off so easy, while my mom's over here, like she just retired and everything, and now she has to worry about sending us to school and having to pay for it all by herself. It's hard to think about like her position.
Well, I do sense a bit of frustration, maybe not directed towards your dad, but just the whole situation in general, if that sounds right. And I do want to let you know, like, it's a really reasonably reason to be stressed out, because you're kind of taking on, it seems that you're taking on, responsibilities of an adult, and it's definitely something that's hard to deal with when you're balancing, a bunch of other things on your plate, especially schooling, which has got to be tough. So good for you for acknowledging that your mom is going through a stressful time, that your family's going through a stressful time, and kind of taking that step of this is something that we need to work on. So good for you. Maybe looking back, what program were you in? Like you said you have next year as well, and then you're mentioning Toronto also? Yeah,
so I'm in the social service worker program right now in college at Durham.
Okay.
And then once I get my diploma, the plan is right now is a couple of us are going to Ryerson University to get our further education, like our bachelor's and potentially our master's. So right now I know there's 3 of us that are set on going, so we plan on moving in together and working some kind of housing out that will be cheaper than residence, hopefully. Anything to save money, potentially. But that's going to be another 3-4 years in university. So right away, university is way more expensive than college. And then we're trying to knock down the residency costs by buying a house or apartment, not buying, but somewhere to live there, which is stressful enough even thinking about. Like, I'm 18, 19 and having to think about somewhere to live in the next year in Toronto.
No, it seems like you have a really drawn out life plan.
Yeah,
for
I
the
like
next
to
few
be
years,
organized.
which is good. It's definitely a good thing to have an idea of where your life's going.
Yeah.
But do you think that's maybe contributed to a bit of the financial stress that you're feeling in any way? Do you feel that it's causing any kind of stress?
I guess I'm kind of focusing more so on the future rather than what's going on right now, what's due right now, what's going on right now. I guess if I take away the future plans to focus on right now, it wouldn't be as stressful, like just taking things one by one. But
yeah, for sure.
when I contribute my plans for later on, it's definitely more stressful because then you think about university costs, housing costs, contributing or commuting costs. So yeah, I guess having a plan is definitely more stressful because then I'm trying to put everything together.
Yeah. So if we go back to the topic of your dad and how the money support isn't exactly there, have you ever considered speaking with him about it? Have you ever done it at all? Just you and him versus, sitting with you, him, and your mom?
Well, I know my mom has talked to him about it, and that's when he kind of came forward and said, I can't financially contribute. So on his end, it's almost like he's just saying, I can't afford to send you guys to school or contribute to it. But then it's just like, we don't live with you, so you're not paying for any of our living costs. And you're submitting child support, but it's not the same as us living with you. He doesn't pay for like any other things, any extracurriculars and things like that, but he's the one I go to when things like that come up. So for instance, I'm playing soccer this summer, so I went to him and was like, hey Dad, would you be able to pay for my soccer? And his response was, I can help or I can contribute. But as soon as I bring up, well, Mom's paying for my student line of credit or Mom's contributing to my tuition, he goes, okay, I'll have the money for you. So it's almost like I bring up schooling and that's his own guilt trip, and we'll be like, okay, I can pay for that, or okay, I guess I can contribute. Because it's just like as soon as he acknowledges that he's not even contributing to school, he's like, well, I guess I can buy that, or I guess I can help out with that. But that's kind of the furthest I've gone for asking him for money. I've never really directly talked to him about school. I wouldn't say I use the school thing as a
like an advantage.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I do, but it's definitely something that I need to bring up to him because it's like you're getting off so easily, and I shouldn't. I accept the responsibility of my job and things that I can contribute to, but it's just like you're over there not paying for anything, and you're my father, so you should be contributing to something. Let it be my soccer or anything else, but at least something.
Right, yeah. It sounds like you've put a lot of thought into this and sitting down and talking with him, which is definitely a good idea, possibly if it is an idea for you. But you did mention that you asked him to pay for soccer this summer. Do you maybe see that recently or at all, if ever, that the only kind of conversations you had have maybe only been discussing money? Like, would you, seeing it from your dad's perspective, what do you think he feels about that?
I do think the majority of conversations are regarding money, but
which is not to guilt trip you at all.
No.
It's just
bringing that forward. Comes back to the effort thing, because he could make an effort saying, hey, like, let's go for dinner, or hey, let's go do this, but it's always been me and my brother putting that effort in. And she's like, we're the kids,
right?
You're the parent. Your kids should not be the ones saying, let's hang out or let's meet up because I haven't seen you in 3 months. Like, that is not a position that I should be in, making the effort to see you. You're my father. We live 5 minutes away. Like, I've taken that responsibility and I've stepped back because I'm just like, you know what, this is ridiculous, and I don't want to be in a position where it's me having to make these plans. Like, for example, our birthday's on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So for our past birthday, we always go out for dinner. And they were our birthday's on Thanksgiving weekend. And at our family cottage on my dad's side, we always have Thanksgiving dinner up there with like my whole family. But this weekend I worked, so I wasn't able to go up. And our birthday was on the Thanksgiving Monday. So he came back that day, but we weren't able to go out. I don't know what happened. And so instead of doing anything, we literally went to Dairy Queen and I bought myself my own meal, and that was our birthday.
Mm.
So it's just like disappointing. It's like, where's your effort? Like, you put in no effort. So that's contributing to the fact, like going back to the moral of that story.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why most of our conversations revolve around money is because I'm not going to be the one to say, let's meet up anymore. So if he's not going to be the one to say, let's go for dinner, then the only reason I'm going to talk to you is that I need something.
Okay.
And I tell myself not to feel guilty about that, because to contribute all the factors. So, like, for the soccer thing, I was just like, I should not feel guilty for asking you for this money because you don't contribute to anything else. You don't put an effort in to see me. You don't even put an effort in to be called a father, really. So, like, I have to tell myself not to feel guilty, because I do. And it's like, as much as I can say that I hate him, I feel guilty for saying that because he still is my dad.
Right.
But, like, these feelings are so strong and so counteractive that, like, frustrates me, because it's like, I want to love you, but I want to hate you because you're a shitty dad.
Yeah. I can definitely sense frustration from everything that you've just said. But I also, correct me if I'm wrong, I can see, like, you're disappointed that, you know, your dad kind of hasn't been there.
I think that
hits
it on the head.
Yeah. So I can see why the conversations don't have much context other than money, and it's understandable. I can see why you're frustrated, and I can see where you're disappointed, because, you know, your family's a little bit split up and separated, and yeah, it's definitely a hard thing to go through, and it's even worse that, you know, your dad's not really helping you out with it.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, has your mom ever, like, does your mom know how you feel in that situation? Has she tried to help you in any financial ways? Like, not with her money, but, like, has she tried to help you talk to your dad at all?
We're kind of on the same page with all that.
That's good.
You could say the hate, I'm going to use the word hate, is mutual among all of us towards my dad. The way he handles it with my mom isn't probably the best way. He kind of gets very defensive and, like, puts it on my mom as if, like, he's not in the wrong. So we all kind of feel the same way about how he is as a father and that way. So yeah, she definitely does know how I feel, and I know how she feels about all of it. So it's not really a conversation we talk about much because it's frustrating and upsetting.
Of course.
It's like, I have my stepdad, but that's my dad.
Yeah.
And he's not much of a dad, so.
Yeah, totally understandable. So to go over everything that we've talked about basically today, you're dealing with a lot of financial stress personally and internally, I think, just because it's hard to talk to the people around you, just because you don't want to put a burden on them. Right. Is that right?
Yeah.
And it's mostly towards a struggle with your dad and his financial incapabilities. So in regards to possible solution or possible goals to a solution, have you ever considered talking to a financial aid representative at the school? Because you did say you go to Durham, right?
Yeah.
So I know that they have a lot of supports there. Would that be an option, or have you ever looked into bursaries? And I know you mentioned OSAP as well.
Yeah, well, being in the social service worker program, like all those opportunities are brought forth and forward, and we've discussed them, but I've never really looked at it as an option. I don't know. It's never really occurred to me like that could help me or that.
Mm-hmm.
But you bringing it up, I guess I could try it out and look into it more and see it as more of an option rather than just kind of pushing it aside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be a door to look into.
Because I think that might possibly help alleviate some stress and some of the burden of your huge plan that you have set in front of you. But, going forward, do you think that the session today helped open some doors or helped bring up some new ideas?
I do. It was good to talk about it and put it all out there, and you've brought forth some good opinions and kind of where to go from. Good. Here I am now, so.
Okay. So just as a overall question, would you be interested in meeting maybe again in 2 weeks or in any time at all if you'd like to talk again?
Yeah, I would. I felt today was good, and it was nice to talk about it with someone who isn't experiencing it in my family, so it's good to get more outside opinions. And
it's nice to get an unbiased opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely I would love to meet with you again if you're willing to do that, because I think, I think that, if you feel that it benefited from what I'm hearing, you feel that you confidently benefit from talking with me today, and I think that we can definitely look into some more options and some more personal goals and to accomplish. So
perfect.
It was awesome meeting with you today.
You too. Bye. You did.
Yes!
Okay, when I